about to be unveiled to you tonight is my latest acquisition. I've just picked this up this evening from Brighton, on the south coast, which is only sort of 20 miles down the road from me. Saw this advertised on eBay this afternoon. It was a buy it now or bid, and there have been quite a few bids on it already. And it was getting close to the buy it now price, and it still had sort of 4 days to run. So I went for it and bought the radio and picked it up this evening. Anyone guess what it is? Let's have a little tease, shall we? Well, I think the possibly the underside gives it away. Recognise the grill. Okay. This is the Hacker Sovereign 3. Picked this up this evening, as I say. This is the RP72. It's in really nice condition. The silk screen's in really good shape. Not a dent, not a mark in the grill. The woodwork's beautiful condition. You know, it's a genuinely nice conditioned Hacker. Superb condition, actually, I would go as far as to say. It's even got the markers still on the dial here for marking stations. The only thing it has missing is the silver little finial on the end of the AFC switch, and I think I know someone who's probably watching now who's actually got one, and might ask him if he could possibly send me one if he's got one free. The seller was selling it. He bought it recently. He bought it about 2 years ago, and he said he's been using it on and off. But he said it's developed a buzzing sound, and he demonstrated this buzzer to me when I was there, and sure enough, it had. Initially, he said it was a hum, and I thought, oh well, he's using it on a power supply. It's the power supply's noisy, or you know, the smoothing caps are drying up. Now these are you can't run them directly on the mains. It's an external supply. I think it's a center negative connection. It's 12 volts, so you just need a sort of a regulated, ideally a regulated DC supply. Ideally you want a non-switch mode power supply for these sort of radios, and he was using a cheap Chinese switch mode power supply that he bought obviously on eBay or something. The trouble with those things is they generate a lot of noise, RF noise, and cause all sorts of havoc with certainly radios like this. But it also sounded like it had a sort of like a high impedance buzz. You know, when you touch the end of a sort of like a phono lead and you get that mains buzz, it sounded like there was just like a high impedance connection to the power amplifier or something like that. So what I'll do is I'll power it up in a moment and try it on the Roban power supply, which should be fairly electrically quiet, and see what it sounds like. Now, he paid, he said, over 150 quid for this a couple of years ago, and I paid nothing like that. But as you can see inside, it's in great shape. It's got the same battery holder and same sort of layout as the, funny enough, the Hacker Helmsman has. And we've got the battery connections here. So it's 1, half 3, 4, half 6. So it's 12 volt supply. Now I'm going to feed the 12 volt supply straight into the back of the radio this evening, just to get it up and running and see what it performs like, and just to go through and see what the switch contacts are like. I mean, when I turned up, he had it playing, and it was playing absolutely fine, but apart from this buzzing sound. So let's power it up and give it a try and see what it's like. So I'm going to set the external power supply to 12 volts, and I'll set the current limit fairly low. We're going to connect our supply up here, so we want to connect our positive to the positive connection and the negative to the negative. Let's switch it on and see what we get. Initially nothing. Let's turn the power supply on. Okay, try again. And sure enough, the noise from my phone charger. Let's turn that off. Those awful things these are, these phone chargers. There we go.
57. Exxon scientists were providing evidence that the burning of fossil fuels was altering our climate.
Okay.
Looking at the documents, we ourselves have...
So really, unfortunately, I think for him, the problem was always that electronic power supply he was using.
It's kind of making that distinction between HIV and AIDS, and also, as you said, you know.
And it's got a lovely sound, as with all the hackers. It's got that lovely sort of clean sound. It's actually, these radios actually sound better than like the RP20s and the RP30 I was messing about with last night. I mean, I know it's an FM radio, but the frequency response just seems slightly better. Aerial looks nice and straight. You can see there the aerial sort of no bends in it. It's got a slight gentle bend in it. We can straighten that out. But overall, that aerial's in pretty good nick. So
Kind of
let's tune through what we can see what we can find.
It's all day long, Lionel Ridge. Arena shows. That is right. The Stick Thorough brings his Illuminate World Tour to...
Checking scale, get alignment, see if it's any.
He'd always been interested in how human beings affect weather.
That scale calibration is good. Let me just show you the scale calibration.
They're not going to have a mid-level person come in and talk to them.
That's Radio 4. Radio 4's on 93.5 in the southeast.
The science of the day in the 70s is showing that there's
You can see a pointer. The pointer's not clearly seen with a.
It's coming from fossil fuel combustion, and it's going to have these enormous consequences for people's lives.
That's one thing I must say. The
10-year window in which
visibility of the pointer is pretty poor, actually. It's just here. Can you see it now? It's 93.5.
Scientists did not appear to persuade senior
Slightly
management.
off tune.
For more advice?
Then head to the BBC advice pages online.
So it seems fairly sensitive. Radio 3.
Amazing book, and also...
Radio 2. So let's try some long waves.
Later, despite the hardening scientific consensus that fossil fuel combustion was driving global warming, Raymond was sticking to his guns.
So that's not bad. It should be on the BBC 2 marker. To change to radio.
The climate has changed every year.
Scale calibration is very slightly out. Medium wave. Switches are nice and clean. There's no problem with that. So that light off might help. So it gets rid of the noise.
Target survey, and then ran the above the plane surface.
Your step for the last 108 years or whatever, and it's all been wrapped up, and the fact that these two teams...
So it's working well, actually. There's nothing wrong with it at all. It sounds like... It's quite impressive sound, actually. It's got the sound of some of the sort of later Roberts radios had, with that sort of really quite incredible bass for quite a small cabinet. So that's the certainly the initial looking into the RP72 Sovereign 3. A bit of a clean up on the cabinet maybe, but to be honest with you, I don't think a lot needs to be done to this radio. Thanks for watching.